taste, the last skill you'll ever need. At this point, I think it's clear to everyone that AI will make any skill attainable. It sounds great, doesn't it? Because it used to be that we can't achieve our hopes and dreams because we didn't have the right knowledge. We didn't have the right skills. But today, you can plug all your personal data into your version of Digital God and just spend time with them. And they will teach you step by step how to go on and do all of the great things you were supposed to do ever since you were a child. We can all finally be our own heroes. But if you're anything like me, you feel more anxious than ever because you finally don't have any excuses to fail now. You spend every waking moment talking to AI, spinning out AI agents, and yet somehow it all feels like busy work, not just trying to not fall behind. So why do you feel this way? Well, it all goes back to one book from 1776, The Wealth of Nations, written by Adam Smith. In it, Adam Smith argues that the division of labor drives efficiency and output. In other words, specialization makes a society better at producing stuff. Combined with his other idea, the invisible hand, which is the idea that markets or societies are self-regulating. These two concepts together has been the foundation of capitalism. It's been the foundation of Western societies. So for the last 200 years, 300 years, the world has been on a one-way train towards specialization. It used to be that you're a farmer, that you're a caregiver, that you cook, that you hunt, that you do everything that you're supposed to do to live. But today, we all each learn a very specific set of skills to fill a very specific duty in society. What do we get? We get money that we use to trade with everyone else, who also only knows a very specific skill to do a very specific job. So it's no wonder that we have been trained our entire lives just to be cogs in the machine. Because specialization is so important to society, it's been the main driver of productivity for the last 300 years. But today, the world is changing now. With AI agents, you can see how they'll replace every cog in the machine. And with that, we each need to find our own place in society. A new place, hopefully. And I believe, in order to succeed in a post-AI world, the most important skill is taste. It's an innate sense that we have. So what is taste? As defined by the Scottish philosopher David Hume, taste is a strong sense united to delicate sentiment, improved by practice, perfected by comparison, and cleared of all prejudice. If you're confused, it's okay, bear with me. We often talk about taste as the general study of aesthetics, but to understand its true nature, we ought to go back to its origin, that is food. How food tastes to us is highly personal. Each person has about 2,000 to 10,000 taste buds located in our mouth. Each taste bud is a cluster of 50 to 150 receptors to detect chemicals. Our genetics define their pattern and sensitivity, which in turn defines how food tastes to us. 25% of us are super tasters, which means we taste extra flavor. We taste extra bitterness especially. The other 25% of us are non-tasters. That means we taste less flavors, less intensely than other people. And 50% of us, the majority, falls somewhere in the middle. Not only is taste subjective, it's also highly relevant to your own past experiences. When you think about food, I'm sure you have that one food, that one meal that maybe your mom cooks for you. Or maybe you had plenty of times as a kid that you still have today, whenever you need that comfort food. Sometimes it's a rather plain tasting meal. But it is what we crave at the end of the day because we associate that with specific sentiment. with the feeling of safety, comfort, and home. As we eat more food, as we're grown up, our ability to differentiate different flavors also improve. And by comparing different foods and the repetition of comparison, we get better at knowing what dishes are supposed to taste like and whether or not they're prepared skillfully and whether or not we like them. Sometimes, however, it is key that we come across foods that surprise us, that taste really good, that it's a dish that tastes unexpected, opposite from conventional preparations, and yet, cleared of all prejudice, hits us like never before. This sense of originality, born from tradition, is what taste is all about. Now, I want to tell you about this concept that nothing is original. In fashion, the first thing designers are taught is the 20-year rule. It is the idea that trends often resurface after 20 years. You can think of it as, today, loose jeans are popular, right? Roughly 20 years ago, skinny jeans were popular. 20 years before that, loose jeans were popular again. In music, performers have remixed the same beats for thousands of years. As the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. So why are you and I so familiar, so similar? Because human nature never changes. As humans, we have 6 basic emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Combining these basic emotions give us more complex feelings. For example, a lot of happiness and a little bit of sadness is love. Happy but fearful is respect. And disgustingly angry is hate. There's ongoing research into emotional theory and how they influence us, but you get the idea. Despite how we each perceive the world differently, our reaction functions are set up by the same basic emotions. Hence, when we face similar situations, when we face similar stimulus, we also have the similar feelings. And maybe we end up making the same choices. That's called human nature. Taste is the culmination of human nature. Let me give you an example. Have you ever discovered a trend early? You found a song that you really liked, but nobody else likes it yet. A restaurant that just opened? Or maybe you found me, a new YouTuber with no views and no followers, but you think I talk about good stuff. Fast forward a few months, you hear about it from a friend, or maybe all of your friends. In fact, this thing that you found a couple months earlier has now gone viral. It turns out whatever captures your attention is likely to capture the attention of other people's as well. As David Hume puts it, the general principles of taste are uniform in human nature. Unfortunately, most people have been trained to outsource their ability to taste to external sources. They rely on influencers to tell them what is good, what is trendy, because they're so specialized, because they're so focused in their specialized fields, because society tells you that you should focus on your own very specific path. And the result is we spend all of our focus in that one path, but the rest of our lives we live on autopilot. However, as AI removes the barrier to specialization, it is more important than ever to develop your own taste. The good news is, it's not too late. Taste is innate to us. So here's a quick test to assess how tasteful you are. You can scroll your preferred social media without looking at the engagement numbers. Look at a post and think to yourself how popular this post should be. Give your best guess and compare it to the actual numbers. You'll find out very quickly with just maybe 10, 20 videos whether or not you have a good idea of what's popular. I'm not saying social media is everything, but social media has put the feedback loop of taste, that is, discovery, like, more discovery, on hyperdrive. Algorithms are so good these days that they will surface the best content according to everybody's taste. And now, in modern society, having a acute eye for virality is an increasingly important skill. With AI leveling the playing field, the only difference between you producing slop and classics becomes a question of taste. Taste is the last skill you'll ever need. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it has inspired you to think about something new. And if you want to learn about my next video, which is about taste and how we can apply it in our day-to-day lives, click the follow button. Thank you.